3, 2, 1. Hello!
Hello!
Oh, well, that was...
Sorry.
Hello! Welcome back to What's the Safe Word? I'm Amp.
And I'm Brandon.
And today we're going to interview Brandon for our 12 Gays of Christmas. What is your story?
Oh my god, where does my story begin? I guess probably that starts when I moved to San Francisco. I remember when I first got here, I went to like the gays gym and signed up for it. It was Folsom weekend, and it was like, what's Folsom? And this leather daddy was like,
What's Folsom, she says.
You can see where that landed me. But then he was like, well, you have to go to Mr. S. So I was like, well, I've never been. I was like, what's Mr. S? Walked in, and it was like, felt like Alice in Wonderland. I like fell in, and it was like, oh my god, I must do this.
And then you ate the boner pills because they helped you grow.
Yeah.
And then.
So I remember asking the most cliche question, which was like, oh, well, how do I find what kink I'm into? The leather daddy in the store once told me, he's like, you don't find kink, kink finds you.
I like that. And it looks like, not to assume, what found you was shiny, black, and slim.
Yeah. I am the inaugural rubber title holder of
I see
Cisco.
that. Stand up, take a twirl so people can see your lovely, ooh, yes, sash. So explain to us what your title is and maybe what titles are to those people that might not understand.
The first glance of what a title holder would be pinnacle of masculinity, looks, sexiness. That's essentially what lures like people to becoming a title holder.
Sure.
But then what title holders are is you become like a community leader. You lead like kinky parties as well as like fundraisers, and you essentially become like a community leader in many ways than one.
As far as bringing people to the community, because title holders, you know, they are that essence of sex and looks and whatever gear it might be. But I think it's also important to say that every title holder is very different, and there is no ideal title holder, because I know plenty of people that are, you know, well within their 40s, 50s, 60s, so on. I know some that are much younger, and others that, you know, own their body shape and size because that's who they are, and they're not gonna adjust who they are just for a community, you know. And I think that having those different title holders is very important because it gives people a reference point to say, hey, those people are owning who they are, they're comfortable in their own body, so I can do that too. Would you say that there's any stigma to title holders?
I would say that there's not necessarily a stigma that I ran into. It was more of the naivete of like what title holder was at first.
Okay.
And it became something more as I got into it. And once I like won it, then my viewpoint massively shifted.
Okay.
So it shifted from like being the pinnacle of sex, but then it actually shifted to being like, wait, there's actually a more tangible aspect to this, which is like community, which is like organization, which is actually not about me, it's about everyone else. And that's actually the bigger point of what a title holder is.
I agree, because you are out in the spotlight, but if you're not doing something with a title, you know, what's the point? You can parade around in a sash and look pretty as fuck, but if you're not doing something with that, I think that's where some people lose themselves within that title.
I have seen that, most definitely. Like I've seen like the multitude of like trajectories you possibly could go to, and some lose the sight of like what is actually truly important.
I've run for 2 titles in my life. The first one I came runner-up, and it was a local Seattle title. And because I was runner-up, they sent me to an international title. At the international title, it was International Puppy. I actually got second place again there. Internationally, granted, but I didn't take that as, oh, I'm awful. I took that as, okay, well, I got second, so there's still room to grow. Let's do something with this community. And you don't need a title. No offense. But you don't need a title to make a change within the community, I don't think. If you have one, you better be doing something with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, check yourself if you're not, because you're important to people in the community, whether you realize it or not.
When you win it, you are on a pedestal, regardless if you want to acknowledge it.
Currently, you're on a chair, actually. So is it safe to assume that rubber is one of your kinks?
Yes, that is very, very accurate. It's the first one. The second one is fisting, actually.
They go hand in hand, or, well, hand in you, I guess.
I like to climb very big mountains.
Oh, so you enjoy hiking as well?
Yeah, very much.
What's your favorite mountain named?
Twin Peaks.
What is one pointer you have for someone just looking to get into rubber?
Best thing you possibly could do is like go in, try it on, because an ill-fitted piece of rubber is not going to look flattering.
What would be your craziest or scariest or funniest kink related story?
My not last boyfriend, but the previous one.
Okay.
I remember we were like playing, we were fisting clearly. That's like what we did 90% of the time. And yes, please. Please? Please. I knew he was like sloppier than usual, and so he was like, I was punching him, and he's like, punch me! And I was like, I'm in you already. I was like, oops. And so at that point, I decided to just give him two. I was like, enjoy!
Surprise! I'll give him a hand.
Yes.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
Oh my god. I'm trying to think of favorite Pokemon.
I feel like you'd be a really big fan of like Hitmonchan. He was the one with the
punching.
What is the most important advice you would give to someone who wanted to run for a title?
Intrinsically do it for the best reason, which is like for your community as well, for yourself. That's like the best advice possibly. And aside from like body or image or what people say, just fuck it, just do it and have fun with it.
Own who you are.
Yeah.
I always say, beyond, of course, being comfortable with who you are and knowing what you want to do to help the community, know your history. Not only gay history, but like the leather history and your community.
Yeah, history is massively ingrained in my identity as a person. So like that aspect's most definitely.
What's important for that to be deeply ingrained with you? I mean, that's what, 8 inches or so?
13.
A few.
13 minimum.
Okay. How has the kink community really affected and changed your life?
What the kink community does is like you realize that your network of friends as well as like your developing family is actually massive.
Sure, and you start to be able, you can't just count everyone on like one hand, you need two. Because you have so many good friends.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What is your title exactly, if you don't mind explaining kind of your title and plugging that competition?
So I'm Mr. San Francisco Rubdown. Rubdown is the event that we're having in February. If you go on to www.rubdown.com, there's a whole entire list of venues and events. And I have a list of...
Where did you pull that from?
We have a behind-scenes Mr. S tour as well as a kink tour. Basically the whole entire run of Blow Buddies, which is located in San Francisco.
One of our bars. Yeah.
We also have a brunch and we have a VIP party, which is Tenacious, which we're watching one of the award ceremonies in Rubber, which will be very fun.
Fun. So you're all sorts of busy, and if people wanted to say maybe ask more questions of you or follow you online, where can they do that?
On Twitter as well as Tumblr, it's Brandon13XL, and on Facebook, it's just my first and last name, Brandon Leon.
I love that you're so open with your name and who you are.
Actually, my mom is like fully like knows everything. My mom is like in the medical community, and she's like, "You are on prep, right?"
Wow, that's super supportive. That's so sweet that you can take your mom rubber shopping.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, yeah. My family's
Well,
like massively open.
That's great. Is she into fisting too?
No.
Anyway, no, I actually don't want to know that. I don't need that visual. And the last and most important question of this show, what is your safe word?
Punch me.
Wait, but safe words stop a scene.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, leave any comments that you have about titles or title holders down below, and we'll be sure to follow up and answer them. And don't forget to subscribe to What's a Safe Word, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna go ahead and judge your runway walk. I need you to walk back and forth in your rubber, so that people can see it, of course. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Wait for the turn. Yeah. Turn. Ooh. Yes. Now drop your pants. Kidding. Oh.